All right, have and have not fans. Now, shout out to Philip Boyd, first of all, for playing one hell of a character in Oscar slash Brandon. Now, keep in mind that this is not a video I'm doing with some confirmed information. That is not the case whatsoever. I know this is probably my third video in the Is Oscar Really Dead installment. I didn't even plan to do this many, but since the episode comes on tonight, in his eyes, we don't know for sure if the fate of Oscar will be confirmed tonight. I'm recording this at about 6:50 a.m. So as of right now, I do know there's only one clip from the Haves and Have-Nots episode tonight that's been posted to the Facebook page, but that's only between Hannah and Derek. I didn't check on Sunday for anything because really I try not to watch those clips unless they're right there in front of me when I'm on Facebook, just to avoid full-blown spoilers. I mean, if I've already done a video covering it, I don't care, but if not, it's kind of like now the episode's sort of ruined. But you know, that's aside from the point. That's neither here nor there. But after thinking about it, because I already did my initial video talking about I don't think he's dead, then I did another video about is he the first casualty, and that's my mom's theory that he probably is dead. And then here's the third part where I just kind of, it's almost like the 5 stages of denial, where it's like grief, acceptance, bargaining, depression, and I forgot what the fourth one was. But Oscar is one of my favorite characters, no doubt about that. But to be honest, it's kind of like Quincy Jr. to an extent. Does he really have anything to bring to the story anymore that's relevant? Like, you know, if Oscar were to be killed off the show, would it really matter in the long run? Because what does this character have to offer as of right now? Because to be honest, I feel like Oscar reached the end of his rope, so to speak, when we learned about his whole thing about preventing Charles from winning the White House. He could only go so far as a man. That's why he needed to enlist Candace's help to infiltrate Charles's camp to get some information to prevent him from winning the White House for his clients. Then the only other thing I could think of is, you know, being hired to get the money back from Wyatt's account, which he successfully did or was in the process of doing. But then Candace swooped in with the help of Gia and Rocky to get the account numbers, so they pretty much will intercept the money. Now, as I said before, I don't know if Candace intercepts Jim's account to not only wipe out the $10 million that Catherine had Lloyd the banker put back into his account. We don't know if she'll also intercept that transaction of Wyatt's money going into Jim's account, which in turn will go to the Cryer Foundation that Candace had Veronica set up at the bank through Lloyd the banker. So we don't know for sure if Candace is going to sweep everything. We just know for a fact that there's a good chance she'll take all of Jim's money. So with Oscar out of the picture, that's, I mean, literally, if you think about Oscar's character, that's really all that he was good for, so to speak. The Charles plot, but he literally said that without Candace he couldn't get that far, because that's why he even went up to Candace's room to see if she finally agreed to his terms. Like, look, we can do this, we can both make a lot of bank. And she pretty much betrayed him. And then you had the whole Wyatt thing, and my mom's theory, I literally said, take my hat off to her, that if Oscar is dead and then the murder is covered up, Jim would think that Oscar took the money and ran. So we do know that is a possibility of Jim reacting to such a horrific event that he doesn't know the details about. And I'm trying to break this down. That's why I'm trying to be careful with my speech. That way I'm making sure I hit all my points here. And so with that, the Charles and the Wyatt plot, I really can't think of anything else that Oscar would be good for in terms of the story. I mean, the only other thing would be if David would have allowed Oscar to do some digging into this Erica that he was seeing at the time. Oscar would have been the one to find out, hey, I know this chick, she's bad news. Because remember, those two had actually met up a couple of seasons ago, and Candace had Erica trail Oscar, and she had like a bellman put a phone in Oscar's ride. That way they could trace the phone to where Oscar was staying at, which turned out to be a front. Because Oscar was one of those crafty characters who he wasn't in every episode, but when he was in an episode, you knew something was about to go down, which I liked it. He was literally like the tech guy, so to speak. But to be honest, with him being knocked off the show, it would be disappointing for me as a fan of his character, but also I could see why his death would be relevant to the story, because I don't know what kind of relevancy he brings to the plot as of right now. I mean, you can let me know in the comments if you can think of some cool strategy, but to be honest, I really feel like it would be a good way to show that David and Jim are both losing all their resources. You know, the Malones don't want to have anything to do with them. You know, let's say if Oscar is killed off, that means that they're screwed in terms of tech support. Literally, Oscar is like their eyes and ears for everywhere. Like, he can get the job done if given enough time and just a little bit of information to start off with. Remember, they lost Maggie Day, who was literally their Oscar, so to speak, in terms of their campaign for the governor and the lieutenant governor spots. So what, you got the campaign, they left the the Malones, they're gone. They're pretty much their hired muscle. Oscar, he's potentially gone, who was their way of like retrieving assets and getting information. They lost Maggie Day, who was pretty much their political colleague in order to get them their political platform in the governor's mansion. Whew, man. You know, depending on what Candace does with these accounts, she might actually wipe all the money that Catherine put back into Jim's account. So that's $10 million right there. Not to mention the possibility of intercepting the millions that Wyatt still had left. My gosh, these guys are screwed. I mean, literally, David, and then not to mention, you know, depending on what Erica does, you know, if she actually does get the chance. Honestly, even though I'm not a big Erica fan, I would be interested in the possibility of what if she literally gets the chance to take David for all he's got. Would she actually do it? That's another video in itself. But then you think about the fact that, let's say if Erica does take David for all he's got, let's say if Erica has a change of heart and then she gets killed off or whatever, that either Candace or Veronica steps in and takes it. Let's say that that's the case, and then David has no money, then he'll lose the house, because I'm pretty sure that Veronica will probably destroy the house. Let me just be honest here. So when you think about it, David and Jim will both have absolutely nothing. No money in their bank accounts, no houses, because remember, Veronica had Catherine burn up the Cryer estate, and then you had Veronica burn up her and David's first home. Then you have the possibility of Veronica destroying her house, and then David and Jim were both screwed over by younger chicks, you know, Erica and Candace respectfully. So, who knew? Literally, I mean, the death of Oscar, no, don't get me wrong, Philip, if you're watching this video, you know I'm a big fan of your character, but to be honest, the death of Oscar could be like a domino effect for the guys, like David and Jim. It's like they went from I'll handle it to, man, I can't handle nothing right now. So with that being said, you know, just think, honestly, I got my notes here. I'm literally looking at my notebook right now, but sometimes the video just has its own flow. Like, I literally didn't think of half of this stuff until recording this video. But yeah, do you think that Oscar has anything left to bring to the story as a living character? I was interested to see if him and Quita would have had another scene together, if, you know, he was alive, because he did give her information. But we'll just have to wait and see. Now, again, just a fun video. This is why I urge everyone, while you watch these videos, after you finish, please comment your thoughts in the comment section below, because sometimes those comments are the fuel for new videos on the channel. So with that being said, fingers crossed that Oscar is still alive. Now, I will be scouting the Haves and Have Not official Facebook page. I hope and pray that they do not release a clip revealing Oscar's fate. Now, they can do a clip where Candace is freaking out and he's foaming at the mouth, because that doesn't fully let us know what happened, because we do know that she's going to pour a bucket of water on him. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say on the matter. Subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll talk to you soon.